All right, guys, good morning. Welcome back. Happy Tuesday. How's everyone doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Make sure this is... Okay. Actually, hold on. Is this in the right spot? Right around there. Boom. Okay. Welcome back, guys. Happy Tuesday. What's up, Chef? Closer? Dino? What's up, Margin? Anna, good morning. Aiden? Golf Nut? Actually going golfing Thursday, finally. I think I need a little bit of a golf break. Did NVIDIA announce something this morning? Oh, shoot. Oh, I missed it. Okay. Yeah, right off 190, 191. Look at that. Yeah, the upside levels are holding very well. And I think my problem yesterday was just trusting. I had a hard time trusting the market was just going to go higher all day, and it did. So that's sort of where I failed a little bit. I didn't expect to just see us grind higher all day, but we did. So now today, the question again is, do you trust everything to go higher again today? It's very difficult into these earnings, into FOMC tomorrow. It's been very difficult to really, truly trust, for me at least. I mean, maybe some blind trust would benefit me right now. That's almost like what I need to have is just some blind trust. But yeah, yesterday just took a $1,500 loss and called it a day. Just didn't get anything. Tried one trade, a singular trade yesterday. Knew I was wrong. Knew I didn't want to try to make it back and make it worse because I wasn't on the right side. When you don't feel aligned with the market, don't push it, right? Just because you're wrong doesn't mean you have to lose money. Right? That's a good quote for you today. Just because you're wrong does not mean you have to lose more money. It's okay to be wrong. It's impossible to be right all the time. And I didn't expect the grind higher all day yesterday. I thought maybe a little bit of a pullback, a little bit of volatility, give us a nice pullback, give us some new entries. But instead, it was just this sort of zombie grind that we see quite a bit. So if you're wrong and you don't feel aligned, you don't need to push it. And that was sort of my day. I took one trade, was wrong, and I said, I'm out of here. So that was me. That was my day. Sucked. Very boring. Some nice opportunities today, though. Definitely. If I can trust the upside today, if I see something, strong out there on the ESNQ that gives me some confidence to go long, there's definitely some setups out there. Broadcom 360, definitely on my mind. Meta 745, that's definitely on my mind. ASTS reclaim, definitely on my mind today. The NVIDIA 190, definitely on watch. Qualcomm pullback longs, definitely on watch, right? There's so many things to be watching. APP 619, 719, 619 holds yesterday. Perfect. So, yeah, a lot of stuff out there. I just need to build that confidence to just long this grind higher. And so that's sort of what's causing some problems for me. So, oh, Amped, I love that, man. I absolutely love it. Amped, you're just better than everyone else, man. I'm telling you. Everyone else, you're just better than everyone else in this. Look at this little sneak peek. Oh, yeah. Reclaim Ripper. Rise before the bell. Dark roast. Love it. Absolutely love it. I got to send this to my buddy. That's hot. Yeah, that's really hot. Okay, hold on. Let me download this. Amped is the GOAT. I had to send this to my buddy. Hold on. Rise before the bell. Love that. That's the one. That's definitely one of them. All right. Anyways, we're working in the background. All right. So let's jump into it today. That was some of the problems I had yesterday. I hope to not have them again today. I have made, I think, a total of like $1,000 in the last 2 weeks. Just being fully honest with you guys, I have not been able to get something going. It's been frustrating. I'm actually almost more frustrated not catching anything than losing. I take that back. I'd rather not be losing, but I mean, I'm up that one day, I'm down the next. I'm up one day, I'm down the next. I'm not gaining traction anywhere. It's been hard for me to get a line, so let's see. I'm just continue to show up. That's all I can do. Continue to show up, continue to, find setups, continue to try to play it, and that's all I can do. So you guys are here along for the ride with me. I'm always going to be open and honest about my performance. This month started really hot, and the back half of the month for me has just been so dead. Yeah, we'll see, all right? Let's continue to work. That's all we can do. So let's start off with the S&P 500. Today, there is a nice reclaim ripper, which you just saw the coffee there, reclaim ripper. There is a little bit of a reclaim ripper going on here. You can see it right now. So right here, you can see previous day highs. You can see this overnight or this, after hours hold here that turned into rejections here at 69.11, 69.10. And you can see right now as we speak, you got a little bit of a reclaim ripper going on here. So let's see, right? Can we hold above this 69.10, 69.11? Can that give me some kind of a confidence to long this? I would then be longing back into 69.17, but with the market the way it has been going, that probably is an irrelevant level. But, the moment you think that longing into this is irrelevant is the moment that you get this, and then you get reminded why you don't long into highs. So, I think it's honestly where my experience is starting to hinder me here slightly, because I am so damn cautious of when this gap gets filled and when, chasing gets caught off sides, that it's making me probably miss out on trades that I should be taking, right? That's sort of what it feels like to me right now. And, maybe that's hindering me here. Because at some point, I know that this is going to pull back to this high. I know you're going to get a retracement and the next long, where I know is the best long. But I also might miss out on just this vertical upside move. But I'm going to try to find that confidence on the intraday today. Looking out, I don't mind zooming out today and remembering the macro picture. You can see the last time we pulled back to the previous structure highs, you had an absolutely ridiculous perfect hold there. That is absurd. So you can see the panic downside on that Wednesday, I believe it was, comes right back into these highs and absolutely sets up the new long in this market, right? This is exactly what I talk about being the best long, and that's why back to 6,800, 6,812, I know it will happen the same way it happened here and here. It will happen here and here. When does that happen? That's the question mark. With FOMC tomorrow and more earnings, very questionable when that does occur. So you have a gap on this ES daily. You have the 6812, 6800 previous high here. You will come back to this level. But, it's the battle between feeling FOMO of missing these straight up moves and also trying to stick to a rule of, making sure I'm not the pig that gets slaughtered being long at the highs when this market decides to gap fill. That's like the balance that that's the juggling act that I'm trying to, do right now. So Possibly looking for longs off 69.10, 69.11 today, possibly on a hold of PDH. It looks pretty good right now. That could set up that long into 69.17. Over 69.17, then, we might just have to look long again today. And it's almost looking like, that's the call right now. So 69.17.75, 69.17.75 is the all-time high. Break and retest above that. We might just have to go. Pullback long, 69.10, 69.11. That is reclaiming previous day high and the pre-market high. Nice little break and retest above that right now. Looking pretty good on the ES futures probably, if you're long there. And overnight, we have this low at the psych level at 6,900, right? And that's pretty clear. Psych level 6,900, that's a very big level now. Psychological level, pre-market lows here. That's definitely a level to look for the market to pull back into and potentially hold at 6,900. So for me, I got to stay on the long side. I got to stop looking to play that gap fill. I tried it yesterday. It didn't work. I'm throwing it out of the ideas, right? And if you're over 6,900, that looking for that gap fill is pretty much irrelevant today. You have way too much to go through to be even thinking about that gap anymore on the intraday, right? The gap is all the way down here now at 68.65. I mean, you are just perfectly holding 6,900 and this 69.10. So even looking for that today is just a waste of time, in my opinion, unless you get something to start to move lower. The only time I would rethink about that gap fill is if you failed under 6,900. That's it. The only way I even put that back into my mind is a fail under 6,900, turning these lows into rejections. If it's not there, then we're going higher. So 6,900, 69.10, 69.17, those are the three levels right now. Holding. Can you hold above the next one? Can you break above this one? Or do you see it reject here and double top? That's the question mark today. Right now, the way the market's moving with positive earnings from PayPal, UNH, I would assume you're going higher today. Nvidia's moving higher. Tesla's holding 350. Everything looks pretty spot on to be moving higher today. So looking for 69.17 to break and hold, that would be money. Looking for pullback long, 69.10 or 6,900. Under 6,900, I would sort of stay cautious on the long side. That's where I would be like, let me be cautious here, right? That would be a pretty important failure back under that low. So NASDAQ futures looking very good as well. You can see here the pre-market low at 25,943, holding strong, double bottom low. You had this pivot here in the pre-market at 25,980, which you can see is perfectly holding right now in the pre-market. So you can see on this 5-minute chart on the NASDAQ futures right here, previous low, high, 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 into lows right now. 25,990. Sorry, not 980. 990. 25,990 on the NASDAQ futures. If that holds, you're going higher. You're going higher into 26,018.75. That's the all-time high right there. Break and hold above that. That's your next long watch. Rejection there. You're cautious of pullbacks into that 25,990 again, maybe for a pullback long. Failure under 25,990, that could influence a little bit of downside, I'd say, towards pre-market lows. So those are really the three things you're watching right now. You hold this, you go here, you break above this and hold it, you go upside, you go all-time highs. You hold this, you reject here, you possibly come back to here, which then the question mark is, do you hold it again or do you break and retest below it? Right there. 25,990. Now looks like the line in the sand of the pre-market and pushing strong off that level. That's really all I care about today. Those three levels. Everything else is irrelevant to me. If you break under 25,943 pre-market low, you're probably going to see a slide lower. Where does it hold inside of yesterday's grind? That's an interesting question that I don't know if I can answer, right? I have no idea what level inside of this melt higher yesterday is going to hold this market up. So it's almost a wait and see for me if we do fail under that pre-market low. Where does that pop candle come back in? Is it this low? Is it this low? Is it this high here? Is it one of these structure lows? Is it anywhere in here? Or is it just straight back down to previous day low at 25.8? That's a question that I'll have to wait and see. for now, really the only levels that I could see that are very clean here, here, and here. Very clean spots. Look at the structure being built. Structure, structure. Do you get a new one above today? So that's what I'm watching there. SPY. Okay, we got pre-market lows right here, 684.70. Right here, previous day high is holding above now. You can see a perfect hold back above previous day high here on the SPY. That's right here, 685.58. Double, had a rejection in the pre-market, now turning into support. So the SPY is now holding previous day high into the market open. That's pre-market low, previous day high, and all-time highs. Those are the three levels I'm watching today. Pretty cleanly, pretty clear. You break under pre-market lows here, you start navigating back into pretty much that straight up move from yesterday, which I think would be an interesting drop, but I will be very cautious before fading that as you trade into yesterday's zombie grind. QQQ. So, QQQ looks like it's about to break the new highs. Right here, pre-market low, very nice hold. And really just all-time highs for me on the Qs here. So, 629.39, all-time highs. Do you hold above it? Do you have a break and retest above it? Break, retest, hold. New upside on Qs. Pull back to pre-market lows. That's really your channel today, right there. That's the area I'll be watching. Break under this pre-market low, I think you could see some slippery action. So just make sure you're cognizant of it. That's all. Wouldn't go chasing it, but be cognizant of it. Failing back under this high from yesterday and this pre-market low definitely would cause, I believe, some downside pressure. So just something to be cognizant of. Doesn't seem like it's a trade that's even worth looking for, but just make sure you're aware if that happens on the intraday that you are not caught off sides, caught on the wrong side of the trade. ES 6917.75. That'll be a big spot for me today. I don't know if you guys saw my video from yesterday, my little reel that I made, but I'll just sort of explain. Here was the reason for my loss yesterday, by the way. So yesterday, I took a short right here, which was such a perfect entry point. Quickly on the 0 DTEs, I know some of you guys took zeros. These were up like 40%. So 0 drawdown and 40%. So technically, I actually I had a nice trade yesterday. Now, my management of the trade is what led me to lose. So my entry of the trade and the idea of the trade short term was very good. Big A plus on that, in my opinion. Like that's an A plus setup. That is a trap over our 68.90 level. Break and retest back below it, 40% 0 drawdown, that's A plus to me. Now, why did I lose? My management of the trade was poor. I continued to hold it. I was looking for more downside. And even after we moved back higher and rejected here again, I gained even more confidence that my 68.90 rejection play was spot on, right? So I was in here. I was up about 9% here. Yeah, I took next week's by accident. There we go. We're back. Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that, Alvarez. I took next week's by accident, which was a mistake of definitely a mistake on my part. I have no excuse there. Interactive Brokers reset my options chain and went back to next week's. And I was up around 9% here. And possibly that was the leading factor of not taking my short entry off at these lows, right? If I would have taken zeros, maybe Fern, that's right. Fern, what's up, brother? If I would have taken zeros, maybe I would have taken this profit off. I definitely would have taken this profit off up 40%. So that was a mistake on my part. Just sort of sloppy. So perfect entry, 0 drawdown, bull trap, or trapped buyer, 68.90 setup, and then what did I do? I just held it after seeing this rejection. I thought, okay, this looks really good. I think I'll get more downside. Nope, squeezed out, grinded out, loss. So just very frustrating to take such a beautiful entry point and then get grinded out of the trade. So that was my day. It was definitely a frustrating one. And you can see, here we go, ES over all-time highs, squeezing in the pre-markets as we speak. All right. So there we go. All right. Let's go to gold. So gold today. What a fade again. Definitely a beautiful downside move on GC once again. The break and retest of this Wednesday low from last week was just money, money, money. Even the fail, as we talked about under the daily 20, was money. And then this retest rejection right here in the overnight session was insanely money. So gold is trading beautifully. Right here you can see these lows on gold from Wednesday of last week. Look at this rejection. Bam, bam, bam. So beautiful break and retest rejection right there on gold, 40.30. Definitely, the break and retest is definitely a viable strategy trading gold. You've seen it all over the place. Right here's another one, right? Previous lows into highs. That's a break and bam, break and retest, rejection, rejection, turning previous lows into highs, turning previous lows into highs. So really nice stuff. Today, I would be slightly cautious of a relief bounce just because you have legged lower once again, right? Gold has these legs lower, has a little relief bounce, leg lower, possible little relief bounce, and you are at a major demand. So just be cautious of that today. Excuse me. 6,900 on GC. Definitely a potential relief bounce spot, so just be aware of that. If you do bounce off 6,900, look for the failure of 6,900, my bad, 3,900. I'm thinking about the ES right now. If you bounce off of 3,900 on gold, which I would expect here, right, I would watch for the failures right in here at 3,960. 3,960, 3,960, 3,957. Right here. Right there. Right in between these lows right here. Here, here. Look for this right here to turn into a failure. That would be the only way you get more downside on GC today. Failures at 39.57, 39.63. Right here. As you push back into it in the pre-market right now. You reject there, that's your lower high. And that could be pretty special. You can see it's already rejected there. In the pre-market, right there. So if we can get a nice pop into that again, I would definitely look to see if that fails. Okay. IWM filled the gap yesterday. Very nice. Pretty much perfect. I would look for the now long on IWM off of 249. So this is sort of what I would have loved to see on the ES yesterday. Just a nice structured pullback to come back to the gap fill. Now we can reassess this very comfortably long back at 249. So that's something I would watch. And that's that. Do I want to look at the Dow Jones? Just sort of going. Actually, a pretty decent little gap. Why did this change? Damn it. Save as default. Dow Jones, actually a nice little, yeah, it's almost like the gap fill there. Do not show. Save as default. There we go. Yeah, I would say Dow Jones between 47,500. Yeah, right there. That's a sick hold. Right at Friday's highs. That's really nice. See, that is nice. Pullback, Friday's highs, bam. That's what I was looking for yesterday. We just didn't get it. Friday highs would have been sick. What are these? But we're just sort of going. So no pullbacks. Today, I would look for, yeah, this is exactly what I'd look for today on the Dow Jones. If you're trading YM, I would look for a nice pullback to that 47,775 right there. Highs, pullback, long. Do we get it? Question mark. All right. Let's continue. If you guys could, please press that like button, subscribe to the channel. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's get 1,000 likes in the live stream today. And let's go over some individual equities. Tesla definitely being one today. And I do want to say, send some prayers to Jamaica, man. That is not looking good over there. That hurricane is nasty. That's a bad one. And it seems like I'm a little bit concerned that they're not taking it as seriously as they should. Because I've been looking at some videos and they just got some wood boards and, you know, the resorts, they're just, I don't know. This could be a bad one. So, prayers out to them, man. Yeah, this is... I saw a video of the eye wall, and it is nasty. Jamaica, Hurricane Melissa, eye wall. Let's see if I can find... Yeah, look at this. Holy hell. Look at that. Let's see if I can get a better one. That is crazy. Yeah, crazy. We haven't had, knock on wood. There hasn't been one in Florida for quite some time. I just jinxed myself, but all right. Tesla. So we finally have a setup that I am interested in on Tesla. Here we go. Could be a nice day. I really hope it is. I hope Tesla is just beautiful today right off this level. Look at this. Highs, 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 highs. Look at the holds. Look at that. Look at how perfect. Rejection, 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 maintaining 450, and that this 453.55 is a big daily level right here. Look at this daily level right here. 453.55 is this daily high. So this is a setup. Finally, I have a reason to look long on Tesla. I like this a lot. I would definitely be eyes on this today. And if we do see some strength out of this demand, I'm looking for upside into 465, into 475. This is very nice today. Let's see if it can play. NVIDIA moving higher off the 190, 191 as it really should. You know, that's a really important hold. You can see right here, previous highs turning into lows. Maintain that level all day yesterday. Yeah, as it should. Right, so nice upside move on NVIDIA here. Really, the only level now is 195.62. That's the only, the all-time high. So let's see. Let's see if it can continue. But for an entry point, I would say previous day high is really the only spot that you could, sort of base it off of right now. PDH. It would be PDH or maybe a wider stop back at 190, 191. But yeah, I mean that's really the only thing you can trade this off of now. Is this 190, 191 level. AMD decent off our 253 yesterday. Decent. I still desire this deeper pullback to fill in this gap right here. I'm not sure if I'm going to get it, but that is what I would desire to see. Good holds at the 249 yesterday. At these lows, you can see right here, 249 right here. Nice holds there. So this zone could be the new demand to look for between 249 and 253. That could be very nice. Below 249, I love the 244. Broadcom, really interested in the 360 today. Definitely something I'm going to be watching. You can see right here, Broadcom is perfectly, just like NVIDIA, holding over this 360 high. Look at that. 360, 360. Definitely a watch today, Broadcom. Qualcomm, monster move yesterday on that news, and there is a daily level that I would be paying attention to today. So the pullback is good. You want to see this pullback. You do not want to see Qualcomm go vertically higher. This is the level I'd look for right in here, 182. 182 and then 176 are the two levels that I would look for today. 182 right here, 176 right here. Pullback longs, give me some action. Here's 182. Here's 176. Looking pretty good right now. I would watch those two levels. MU is giving you exactly the pullback that you wanted. I'm happy to see MU going down yesterday because that's what you need it to do. So previous highs right here on MU at $210. This is a perfect pullback. Let this fall back to 210 and then look to see if it builds that flag. This is how you want these stocks to trade. You don't want them to continue to go vertically higher. This is what sets up a nice opportunity, right? Because you get a cool down period into demand, and then you can trust that as your new buy level, right? So watching that today, seeing if buyers step up between 210, 209. If not, then possibly a little bit lower. But this will be my spot to watch for now. Want to see what happens inside that zone. TSM is actually very interesting today. Look at this TSM. TSM not moving with the rest of the semis, but also still creating a very interesting flag here. Take a look at this 4-hour on TSM. Nice little 4-hour flag right now. Filled the gap, which is fantastic, right? Filled the gap up, which I love. Back to this demand. Back to the daily 20. 4-hour flag, right? I like this. Break, retest, retesting daily 20, filling gap at demand, upside move. Definitely watching TSM here today, seeing if it can catch some fire. So I like the setups that's actually set up yesterday versus went vertically higher and I have to chase like a degenerate, right? I'd rather watch TSM. I'd rather watch Tesla holding 350, right? That's actually holding a nice level there, right? Look how structured that is. Very nice. Very nice structure right here. See this? See this? Clean structure. I like that. So that's what I'm looking for. Some of those structure moves. TSM structure. Tesla structure. AMD, it's all right. 249, 253. NVIDIA's gone for me. That trade's already gone. It's 190, so that's gone. That Broadcom 260 looks like something to watch. MU pulling back to our key demand there, 210. Keeping eyes on that. Qualcomm back down to the 182 spot. Those are some of the semis that I'll be watching today. Apple just went vertically out of the gates. Oh, no, it didn't. That was AMD. My bad. Well, I guess it did go vertically out of the gates, but it did just sort of stalled after that. But anyways, Apple later day yesterday just sort of randomly got a shot of adrenaline and just went straight up. Perfect hold over 264 previous day high. Friday high right here. Perfect break and retest hold. Today, I would be looking for 267. 267. It would continue the stair-stepping structure, right? Right here. Bam, bam, bam. So what does Apple need to do to stay structured here? It needs to stay above 267. That's what I would be watching on Apple. 267 break and retest. Can we get a pullback there? Okay, so the ES is failing the exact high. Okay, interesting. Okay. Amazon. Let me pull up my charts so I don't get sidetracked. Desi TA. Okay. Yep, Amazon. Perfect. Amazon 228.21 is our daily high that we've been watching. Let's see if that can turn into a low right here. 221.20. I'm sorry, 228.20. Can we get a hold of that level? That will be something I watch today. Google, that's pretty much gone for me. I have nothing on Google, guys, unfortunately. The only thing I have on Google is pre-market low, which I'm not really interested in longing pre-market low. So, yeah, I mean, Google for me is sort of gone. Maybe it's, a break and hold over 272, but this thing's sort of gone for me. So nothing there on Google for me. Meta is somewhat interesting today. I would like to see it get over previous day high here, but you can see that the structure is being built. you can see right here, 745, 742 is holding. I would like to see it over 755. Palantir, 190. Let's see if it can hold above it. Let's see if we can hold above it. That would be the key. Over 190 would be the key today. If we can get that, look for break and retest action there of 190. Snow was spot on, man. Snow is perfect. So, unfortunately, the snow trade is over. The only next trade on this, after this daily breakout, is 255 pullback right here. So, I need a pullback right here to 255. That's the only way. That would be the only way to get an entry point for me here. Would be pullback longs, 255 here and then here. But a beautiful... Look at that daily 20 SMA curl. Look how beautiful that daily 20 is, man. Just curling right off that daily 20. Just perfectly. Bam, bam, explosion. So clean. Reddit didn't get over my 225 level. I'm still waiting for that today, over 225. APP. I do like that APP hold yesterday. Take a look at those. That APP level we had was 619 to 627. Take a look at APP yesterday. Perfect hold right above the daily 20. Now, that's interesting. That's very interesting. So, 619, 627. Look at that hold right there. Right above these highs. Right back in these lows here. Definitely keep an eye on this one today over this high at 645 area. That's a nice pullback long hold there. One smaller cap, I guess you could call it, that I'm watching today is ASTS. This is possibly actually one of my top watches. Surprisingly, it really is. This is a really good pullback on ASTS. Number one, I really do like what ASTS is doing. We've talked about ASTS for a long time, and it's very interesting to me here. So I like what ASTS did at this 79.82 level right here. See this previous low, 79.82? That's a major daily low right here. It has reclaimed that perfectly this morning. Look at 79.82 as we speak. It is a perfect hold right above a random decimal level, right? So why is ASTS holding exactly 79.82, right? Doesn't make sense. Yes, I did cover the NASDAQ. Go back. So 79.82 is this exact low. I mean, it's this 70. Look right here, 79.82, right? So that is not by some coincidence. That is because it's reclaiming a major daily low, right? So that is very interesting today. I would be watching ASTS. UNH earnings moving higher. 200 SMA. I would just be careful of that today on UNH. Watch out for the 200. And then the other earnings move is PayPal, which is rejecting its gap level pretty aggressively here, actually. So right here, you can see that this 82.70 spot is a gap start on PayPal, and that is actually exactly where it's rejecting. Look at that, 89.69, 82.69. So, yeah, I needed to see it above that for any interest for me. Oklo. Yeah, I mean, a good pullback hold, but I'm still not that fond of longing Oklo into 148. I still have an alert waiting for that. So that's really it for me. Key watches, top watches of the day. Here we go. Number one, Tesla 450 holds. That's a number one watch. Definitely keep an eye on that. ASTS over 79.82. Definitely watching that. Broadcom 360. Eyes on that one for sure today. TSM, keeping an eye on that 4-hour setup off the daily 20. Look at that daily 20 hold right there in the 4-hour, man. That looks very good. Definitely keeping eyes on TSM. I think there's reason to watch Palantir over 190. And then that Meta over 755 PDH and that Amazon over 228.21. Okay? Those are going to be my top watches. Yeah, CrowdStrike's just ripping. Let's see what the market's doing. S&P 500. S&P 500. Sort of just sitting right at these highs today. Let's see what happens up here. 69.60. 1775 was this previous high. Where did the NASDAQ go? The NASDAQ also rejected, yep, right at those highs. So interesting up there. We're watching these double top highs today to see what happens. Let's see if we can hold this pullback, 25,990, or if we fail back below it. That was one of our key spots, as we talked about earlier. S&P 500 as well, back to the 69.10, 69.11. Will be very important. Okay? Yeah, Hood is an interesting watch. I sort of kept it out of my analysis today. 148 still rejecting on Hood. I need to see it over this 148. Sort of rejecting some of these previous lows, previous high areas. I'd like to see it get above. Pullback right here would be absolute on the money. Right here. This would be a sick entry. Pull back to 140, 141. Create that 4-hour flag. That would be great. All right, guys. Well, again, today we battle. We head into the day prepared. That's the best we can do. Try our best to stick to our game plan. Try our best to stick to a nice setup. Take our shots. Manage our risk. You just gotta keep shooting, man. That's my motto. I'm a shooter. If my strategy shows, I take it. And I live with the consequences. I know how to manage risk, so I'm not ever gonna, hopefully, never gonna just blow everything up. So no harm, no foul in taking your shots. That's the only way to, continue to gain experience is to trade and attempt and learn. That's the best form of education, right? So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the live stream. If you could, please press that like button before you head out. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Make sure to register to the live trading event down below in the description. In November, we're having 3 days where we'll do, this live stream, and then we'll go straight into live trading, which will be a lot of fun. We did it last Friday, so I enjoyed that. Make sure to check that out down below. That's it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.